The call that broke a billionaire. Ethan Ward had everything: wealth, fame, power. His face was on Forbes, his company dominated Silicon Valley, and his mansion overlooked the Pacific. Yet, behind every award and every speech, he carried a secret he'd buried deep for years. A decade ago, Ethan had walked away from a woman named Clara Benson, the only woman who had truly loved him before his billions. She wanted family, peace, and love. He wanted empire, legacy, control. When she told him she was pregnant, he offered her money to handle it. She left without another word. He never saw her again. Until tonight, when a child's voice on the phone called him daddy. Shaken, Ethan dialed his assistant. Trace that call. Now. Within minutes, his security team pinged the signal, a cheap prepaid phone, somewhere in Riverside County, near a rundown trailer park. Ethan grabbed his car keys and drove through the night rain, headlights slicing through darkness, the sound of thunder matching his heartbeat. When he arrived, the trailer park was silent except for the distant barking of dogs. His luxury sedan stood out like a diamond in dirt. He found the trailer number that matched the signal, Lot 23. He knocked. No answer. He knocked again, harder. Then he heard it, a faint sob from inside. He broke the door open. The smell of cheap beer, rust, and fear hit him instantly. Inside, under a dim bulb, sat a little girl, messy blonde hair, tear-streaked cheeks, wearing a faded pink nightgown. She couldn't be older than 7. She looked up, trembling. "Daddy?" Ethan froze. The same voice from the call. But before he could speak, a loud crash came from the next room. A man stumbled out, mid-40s, unshaven, furious, holding a belt in his hand. "Who the hell are you?" he roared. Ethan's instincts took over. He grabbed the man's arm mid-swing. "Touch her again and you'll regret it." The drunk staggered back, slurring, "She's mine. My girlfriend left her here. Said she ain't my problem no more." Ethan's pulse pounded. He pulled the girl behind him. "Where's her mother?" The man spat on the floor. "Some lady named Clara. Died last month. Overdose, I think." The world stopped. Ethan's grip loosened. "Clara, gone?" He turned slowly to the little girl, who clung to his coat. Her blue eyes, Clara's eyes, looked back at him with fear and innocence. "Sweetheart," he whispered. "What's your name?" She sniffled. "Lila." His throat tightened. "Lila." The name Clara once said she'd choose, if they ever had a daughter. Ethan felt his knees weaken. This was his child. His blood. His consequence. He took her to the car, wrapping her in his coat. She fell asleep on the way, clutching his sleeve like she'd known him forever. Back at the mansion, his staff looked shocked. The billionaire who once said, "I'll never have kids," now carried a fragile girl in his arms. That night, as Lila slept in the guest room, Ethan sat in the hallway, staring at her door. For the first time in years, the man who conquered industries felt powerless and human. But his nightmare wasn't over. At 2 a.m., the same unknown number called again. Ethan answered. This time, it wasn't Lila. A cold, distorted voice said, "You took what's mine, Ward. Bring her back, or she won't be safe anywhere." Then silence. Ethan gripped the phone so hard it nearly cracked. Whoever that was, they weren't bluffing. He had no idea he was about to uncover something much darker than a forgotten past. The truth behind the pain. The next morning, Ethan's private investigator found out the drunk man wasn't Lila's biological guardian. He was part of a child trafficking ring, using abandoned children for illegal adoption schemes. Clara had apparently tried to protect Lila, and died fighting it. Ethan's blood boiled. He called his head of security. "I want every resource on this. If anyone comes near her, I'll destroy them." He placed Lila in a private hospital for a full checkup. She was malnourished, bruised, but alive. When the nurse asked her about her mother, Lila whispered, "Mommy said Daddy would come one day, even if it hurts." Tears welled up in Ethan's eyes. Clara had never stopped believing in him, even after all he did. Determined to make things right, Ethan called the FBI, using his influence to expose the trafficking network. But hours later, his mansion's security alarms blared. Someone had broken in. Ethan ran upstairs. Lila's room was empty. Panic ripped through his chest. "Lila," he shouted, running through the halls. He found a note taped to her bed. "You can't buy everything, Ward. Some debts need blood." Rage replaced fear. He tracked the signal from the security cameras, a black van heading east toward an abandoned warehouse near the docks. Ethan didn't wait for police backup. He drove himself, rain pouring, heart racing, headlights slicing the night like a knife. At the warehouse, he found the van still running. He stormed in, shadows everywhere, dripping pipes, the hum of fluorescent lights. A man stood there, the same drunk from before, but now sober, cruel, and armed. "Thought you could steal her, huh?" the man sneered. "She's worth more than your car, Ward." Ethan lunged, tackling him to the ground. A brutal fight followed, fists, rage, broken glass. Ethan's face bled, his ribs screamed, but he didn't stop. In the corner, Lila cried, tied to a chair. "Daddy. It hurts." Those words, the same ones from the call, hit Ethan like lightning. He roared, headbutting the man, then used a metal pipe to knock him out cold. He cut Lila's ropes, hugging her tightly. "It's over, baby. It's over." Police sirens wailed in the distance. Later, when the dust settled, officers told him the truth. The trafficking ring had been under investigation for months, but Clara's death and Ethan's sudden involvement had finally brought them enough evidence to end it. Ethan sat outside the ambulance, holding Lila in his lap. She looked up at him and asked softly, "Are you really my daddy?" He smiled through tears. "Yes, sweetheart. And I promise, I'll never let you hurt again." Lila touched his bruised cheek. "Mommy said you'd come when the stars cried." He looked up, the rain had stopped, and moonlight broke through the clouds. He whispered, "I'm here now, Clara. I'm here." Epilogue. Months later, Ethan had stepped down as CEO. He donated half his fortune to building a charity in Clara's name, the Lila Foundation, rescuing children from abuse and trafficking. He spent his mornings making pancakes with Lila, who now laughed freely, her scars slowly fading. One evening, as they watched the sunset over the ocean, Lila tugged his hand. "Daddy, does it still hurt?" He smiled softly. "Not anymore, Angel. You healed me." The camera pans out, a father and daughter silhouetted against golden light, two broken souls finding home again. Studio microphone narrator, gentle voice. Sometimes, the smallest cry can wake the biggest heart. Never ignore a call for help, it might be destiny calling. Red heart. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, subscribe to the Kindness Chronicles, and share it, because kindness, even in the darkest night, can save a life.